Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again today. In this video, let's briefly talk about the front wheel liners. Now, as you can see, I have mine out. Why would you want to remove your wheel liners to begin with? In my case, I needed better access to the fog lights as well as the headlight projectors so that I could put LED bulbs in those sockets. This made the process easier, and of course it made things much easier when it comes to changing my suspension, rebuilding the front shock mounts, as well as changing the shock absorbers. In addition, I also wanted to clean the liner itself. They used to be in very rough shape. Now they're nice and black, this deep rich color, and they look much better. The component itself is held in place altogether by 8 fasteners. There are 3 fasteners at the bottom front. 1, 2, 3. There are another 3 at the bottom rear. 1, 2, 3. And there are 2 extra ones at the top. This is at the arch here, for a total of 8 fasteners. Now, can you folks guess, for 8 fasteners, how many different tools do we need so we could manipulate those 8 fasteners? If you guessed 4 different tools, that would be correct. I kid you not, you need 4 different tools for those 8 fasteners. I've laid them out here on the ground. So you have 3 here, another 3 here, and 2 on top. The ones at the front, here are the 3. For those 2, you need a flathead screwdriver. Then 1, 2, 3, you need a 10mm socket. You may be able to do these by hand as well. They're relatively easy, but in general, the correct tool is a 10mm socket. The one here at the back, the last one at the bottom, is actually a T30, I believe. Yes, a T30 Torx. Yep, a Torx. And the ones at the top of the arch require a Phillips type of screwdriver. So that's what you need to manipulate those fasteners and take your liner out. Now, I didn't record that process, but I will be recording the process of placing it back in. And this will give you a good idea of what's involved, regardless if you're going out or in. Let's start by positioning the liner inside the wheel well. So this is roughly step 1. You want these areas here at the back to be behind these bushings on the upper control arm, on the upper wishbone. As long as that's in place, you've kind of completed this first stage. All right, now at this point, I aim to put this fastener here and this one here in place first. Let's try to do that now. Basically, just maneuver the liner until the little metal studs protrude through the holes, and then you can even just hand tighten the corresponding fastener. There it is. All right, so this gives you a bit of better positioning, and now the liner itself won't fall out of place anymore. Now, once that's in place, what I prefer to do is just start at the front and start moving along the edge and fitting everything in its place as I go along. The two fasteners here at the front are just push in and then press to lock. So I leave those until later. First I need to have the liner go behind the bumper and the wheel arch. The liner is soft, so you can manipulate it and move it around. We now have it properly seated up to here, and now we just continue along this edge. Okay, so now from one fastener to the other, we're good, and all that remains is this area down here. Okay, let's see where we stand now. We're well aligned all the way along the edge. And here's the fastener that we put in place before. You also notice that the other one already aligned itself, which is expected. You can even hand tighten here. For now, this one is ready. This is the Torx. The Torx can go in at the front. You have those push connectors. Now for them, pay attention to this little it's not just a round circle, but there is a bit of a opening at the bottom. I hope you can see it here. I think this opening needs to point down. This is probably for water drainage. So when you're placing it in, just make sure that that opening is facing downwards. So you would push this in with the little rod fully extended back, and after this is in, then you would push in to lock. And same thing with the other one. Press it in. Once it's fully seated, with the little drain pointing down, you lock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have 7 and 8 on top. All right, the last two at the top of the wheel arch. Now, the important thing here is that there is a metal tab underneath that is sort of shaped like this. When you place the liner, you want the liner to be on the outside, or you want the liner to be closer to the tire rather than the metal tab being closer to the tire. So in a way, the liner is behind the metal here, but in front of the metal here, if that makes sense. It kind of switches. So just make sure this is in place. When you're placing the liner, don't push it behind the tab. It needs to be in front. And then the connector is like this, similar to the ones that we put down here at the front at the bottom, but these ones are flat screwdriver. These ones here are Phillips. So again, you would have this extended out, push it in, and then you can just press. You don't have to screw them in. On locking, you can press. On removal, you have to screw them out. And the last little bit that we need to complete here is the access hatch at the front. Now, when you're reinstalling this, this middle locking mechanism needs to be, the tab needs to be vertical. So keep it in this fashion during the time of installation. Step number 1 would be to have this tooth slide in and get into position at the top. There we go. Now at this point you want to lock the bottom, but don't worry about this tab, pressing it or trying to fit that. Just hold the bottom, bend the middle out, and the bottom will just fit in. There we go. Right? Now, when the top is in place and the bottom is in place, just push this back. And while you're pressing back, lock it by turning to the right. And now you are securely in place and everything is as it should, with your front hatch in place and the entire wheel liner in position. All right, folks, enjoy your refreshed, beautiful looking, like new wheel liners. Best of luck in your future projects. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Take care.